usually every day there's a bit of a shitstorm. So instead of panicking and you know, trying to avoid all these problems, you gotta learn how to roll with the punches. Well, what are you gonna do? You know, we're on the flight. He already accepted if we die, we die. And he just said, you know, what if you can't control it, why worry about it? And for me, that really clicked, that really resonated. And I try to emulate that from that point on in all aspects of my life. But, you know, when you're getting to a point where, you know, you're worrying about everything, you know, what if this happens and what if that happens, you know, all this stuff that causes anxiety, what you really gotta do is think about what is the worst case scenario and accept that. An amazing steak restaurant, and that is my gym. I serve up one thing. That's the most amazing steak in town, but it's not steak. It's actually kicking ass and getting strong as fuck. And that's what 𝐒.𝐒 Strong Academy is.
One man shit show with the Canadian Grizzly.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the One Man Shit Show, episode 10. We made it to 10. It's pretty awesome. This week's theme, I want to talk about rolling with the punches. You've heard it before. You know, it's a boxing term, but when a punch is coming, you're gonna roll with it. Try to deflect that power. Well, that's what you got to do with everything in life. You know, people think everything is great, but think about your life. Usually every day there's a bit of a shitstorm. So instead of panicking and you know, trying to avoid all these problems, you gotta learn how to roll with the punches. And I do that on a daily basis. And even when I'm out there, you know, sparring the guys in class or whatnot, you gotta learn how to deal with, you know, situations that might not be ideal and roll with the punches. So that's our theme today. And we'll be talking about a lot of that kind of stuff, even in the Mindset Minute. And when I talk about my sensei, Sakurai Ryuta, who taught me a lot about life and how to roll with some motherfucking punches, even though I took many of his.
Awesome sauce. Celebrate the awesomeness.
Okay, everybody, awesome sauce. Well, this week, you know, going by, you know, the current trend is just talking about awesome dudes that have kind of influenced my life. And, you know, I can't leave out this guy because he's probably one of the most quintessential guys to impact my life. And that is my sensei, Ryuta Sakurai, who is a Japanese MMA fighter and a guy that I train with for the better part of 8 years. This is his gym, Our Blood. I sometimes throw on this shirt. It's an extra large, so it looks like a sausage casing, or I'm 300 pounds of shit stuffed in a 50-pound bag. But that's okay, because when I wear this shirt, I feel a little more powerful, and brings back good memories of training and living in Japan. And what I want to talk about with Ryuta Sakurai is just, you know, his warrior spirit. I've never met a man that was so dedicated to the sport of mixed martial arts and fighting. In fact, he's 50 years old right now, and he's still planning on fighting. He actually won a championship belt about 2 years ago against a very young and hungry opponent, but he used his old man power to slap on an armbar and tap this guy out and get a belt. He was the former deep champion in middleweight, and you know, I trained with him for so many years. We went traveling together to Jackson's MMA in 2009 and trained with some of the best fighters in the world at that time. You know, let's say John Jones, Rashad Evans, Brian Stan, you know, the list goes on. And, you know, it was just a testament to, you know, him willing to go anywhere and train anywhere and fight anybody. And, you know, he's dedicated his whole life, and having my own gym now was, you know, kind of my life goal. And he was one of the reasons why I have that life goal, because, you know, he has his gym, he has, you know, his dedicated students. You know, it's a small group, but it's just this same kind of commitment that I, you know, hold for my clients and my students. And to see someone just dedicate his life and work in your own business, dedicated to the passion that you have for a sport. And that's what I have with, you know, lifting and training. And so I really have to dedicate this awesome sauce to my sensei, Ryuta Sakurai, who has shown me a lot and taught me a lot and used to kick my ass quite often. So thank you for doing that. You've made me a better man. Dish.
Mindset Minute.
Okay, so Mindset Minute. What I want to talk about, today is, once again, using my sensei, Sakurai Ryuta, as a reference. But, there was a time, 2009, I talked about, we were flying from, Tokyo Narita Airport to Hawaii. We had a layover. We're going to go to Hawaii, go to the beach for a few hours, and then head back to the airport, and then continue our journey to another stop, and then another stop, and eventually Albuquerque, New Mexico, where the gym was, Jackson's MMA. But I remember this is the worst flight I had ever been on. Talk about, I've been on quite a few flights internationally. The turbulence in this flight was horrendous. Like, we're talking about, full on shaking, rattling uncontrollably for more than a half an hour to an hour at times. So I was, I've always had kind of a phobia of flying, and I was kind of freaking out. I'm sitting there going, holy fuck, are we gonna go down? I mean, is this plane going down? I'm pretty concerned. I look over beside me, and Sakurai is sitting there sleeping, eyes closed, and probably actually sleeping. And I remember after we got to Hawaii, I asked him, damn, weren't you scared? Like, I thought we were going down for sure. He's like, well, what are you gonna do? We're on the flight. He already accepted if we die, we die. And he just said, what if you can't control it, why worry about it? And for me, that really clicked, that really resonated. And I try to emulate that from that point on in all aspects of my life. But, when you're getting to a point where, you're worrying about everything, what if this happens, and what if that happens, all this stuff that causes anxiety. What you really got to do is think about what is the worst case scenario and accept that. In that example, it was like, maybe we would have gone down. Well, if that happens, that happens. Can you control it? No. So instead of panicking and freaking out, try to find calmness in times of panic and difficulty and even life or death situations. You really got to take control about certain things. And so what I want to say to you guys is, you cannot control things in your life, especially, stuff that's could, be life or death. What if you catch, a virus or whatnot and perish? Well, that might happen. But are you going to spend your entire life worrying about, what if situations, or are you going to live your life and, accept that, yes, we are all going to die. I don't know when it's going to happen, what day it's going to happen. Could be, in 20, 30, 40, 50 years for me, or it could be tomorrow. I could be deadlifting some weights and just have a heart attack right there. But what you got to do is just recognize that, you cannot control whatever's happening. Your life is basically scripted out for you, in my opinion. And so you got to learn how to roll with the punches and just deal with each situation as it goes. And just another thing is live your life to the fullest and do not worry about, all these what if situations. Try to, challenge yourself, go into the hard things. Because let's say it is your last day on earth. Well, at least I know I can look back and go, holy shit, I had a pretty awesome life already. I've done a lot, and if it's time to go, I'm ready to go. Rather than going, fuck, I didn't get to do all these things that I was supposed to do, and I had all these ideas and all these visions of what I was gonna do, and I didn't do shit. So that's what I wanna say for Mindset Minute. Dish.
Coaching ain't easy.
All right, everybody, coaching ain't easy, and it certainly isn't. It's been a long time since I've, started as a coach and gone through, so many different clients and students over the years. And, we're talking about Japanese analogies, and I want to talk about my previous boss. His name was Wakabayashi, and he was basically the Japanese version of Jabba the Hutt. He was this giant fat dude. business tycoon, and he was running this kind of empire where he was pimping out English teachers to different cities. And I remember, I was one of his, guys that could speak Japanese, so I was one of his underlings and kind of, a liaison between the whiteys and the foreigners, and not just white people, and then the Japanese school boards. And I had to do some crazy trips. One of them, I almost murdered a guy by accident, but we'll talk about that next time. But what I want to talk about is Wakabayashi taking me to Tokyo. And I remember I used to have to drive this guy because he had sleep apnea, and he would be falling asleep on the wheel all the way to Tokyo. It was about an hour and a half drive. And so I would like pull over, I'm driving. So I learned how to drive, in the biggest city in Japan, just using his navigator in Japanese. And so, but we get to the school, and there was a teacher that was having trouble with the teachers and whatnot. So we sat in this room with him, and he's like, I was a teacher for all these years in America, and I'm doing it my way, and I'm doing everything I can. I'm doing great, but they just don't like what I'm doing. And well, he was doing a bad job. The Japanese teachers were complaining about him, and so they said, we need him to do, we don't want him to be the main teacher. He was assisting the Japanese English teacher. But I remember Wakabayashi, aka Japanese Jabba, well, he says to the guy, listen, he's like, oh, Marco, what I want to tell you is this. He had this French/Japanese accent in his English, because he lived in France for a while as well. And he said, listen, you're going into, a restaurant that sells, steak, but you're asking for sushi. Right? So you're going into a restaurant where it has the best steak on earth, but you're going in there and you go, I want to eat sushi. Or I believe it was vice versa. He's going to the sushi store, but he's trying to give everybody an American steak. But no one in the store wants to eat steak, or the restaurant. They want to have sushi. So you could be the best at something that and if they don't want to eat what you're serving, then no one's going to eat what you're serving. So what I want to say is, coaching isn't easy. But to flip that on the other side is you're finding your own niche market and who you are and what you're really good at. So I actually have created an amazing steak restaurant, and that is my gym. I serve up one thing. That's the most amazing steak in town, but it's not steak. It's actually kicking ass and getting strong as fuck. And that's what Muteki Strong Academy is. And so, if you want to come and learn those two things, this is the place to do it. That's what I specialize in. So that is my niche. And if you don't want to do those things, if you want to go bodybuild, or you want to go do CrossFit, or do some other kind of, yoga or whatever, Pilates, don't come here. This isn't the place for that shit. So as you're building your business, I suggest stick to your guns. Get really good at one or two things. Luckily, I'm 42 years old. I've had enough time on the earth to say that I've kind of mastered at least a few things. Definitely, I'm getting towards becoming a master in martial arts, definitely powerlifting, lifting, and so those are things I just decided those are what I'm going to focus on. And that's what I'm going to be really good at. And, if someone wants to learn how to do Olympic lifting, I have plenty of friends that do that. Someone wants to learn how to bodybuild, I'm not going to teach them that. I ain't getting on no stage with my dick hanging out. Hell no. But someone else knows how to do that, and they're good at that. So what I want to say is, coaching isn't easy, but stick to your guns, get really good at a certain niche market, and make sure that, you attract the people that want to learn those things. You might not be the coach for everybody, but at least you're going to be the best coach at what you do for a specific genre that you are a master at. And that's all I wanted to say!
Classic beefcakes.
All right, everybody, classic beefcakes. Well, I'm from Calgary, Alberta, and I cannot leave out, one of the most, if not, the most famous wrestler from Calgary, BRET, the Hitman Hart. And you'll see here, I'm wearing this Stampede Wrestling Classic t-shirt. That's where it all began for BRET, the Hitman Hart. Calgary's famous, the Hart family. You know, so many of the brothers were wrestlers. You know, the most famous were, you know, BRET and Owen. You know, I could list a number of different wrestlers. We had the Hart Foundation, British Bulldog. We had, you know, Owen and Jim the Anvil Neidhart. And sadly, a lot of these guys aren't around anymore. And so, you know, rest in peace to them. But BRET the Hitman Hart is still alive and kicking. And, you know, he's been an integral part of my life. I grew up watching the WWF or WWE. And, you know, he was, you know, this guy that was bigger than life, but from Calgary, you know, my hometown. And, you know, watching him growing up, and he won, you know, multiple championships. He was the champion of the world for quite a while. And one thing I loved about him was he wasn't the biggest guy, but he was really technical. And if you look at, you know, now that I know martial arts, back then I didn't, you know, a lot of his moves are kind of, you know, catch wrestling style where, you know, they actually do hurt, like the submissions, you know, the sharpshooter. That shit hurts. If you slap that on someone, it's gonna hurt. You know, they're gonna tap out. You know, I've also had the pleasure of meeting him before. I remember when I was younger, running past him on a bike path, going, "Wow, that was BRET, the Hitman Hart." And then fast forward, moving back from Japan, you know, I was at a sports convention, and you know, sadly at this convention there was no one there, and I had the luxury of just sitting down with BRET the Hitman Hart and Dan Severn, another classic beefcake UFC champion, and just picking their brain, talking to them. You know, I lived in Japan. BRET had wrestled in Japan quite a bunch before and after and during his career, because Japan is like, you know, besides America, that's where wrestlers go. It's where you learn, you know, a lot of the hard style, and so it was pretty awesome talking with him and meeting him. And I just want to say thank you for influencing my life and letting me know that, you know, anybody from even at that time I thought Calgary was a small town, it's a big city, but you can live that dream, you can travel, you can go to Japan, you can push your limits anywhere. So thanks a lot, Bret Hart, and I hope to see you around in Calgary.
Fuel Up. Sponsored by Magnum Supplements.
All right, everybody, fuel up. And today I want to talk about, you know, one of my favorite products from Magnum, and that is Primer. What is Primer? Well, Primer comes in these packs of 8 capsules, and you know, it's a one-stop shop for all the vitamins and supplements that you need each day. You know, it has multivitamins, antioxidants, hydration, digestion, brain function. It's got your essential fats that you need, and also all the aminos that you will need. So Primer is pretty awesome. All you gotta do is crack open a pack, have that, you know, I like to take mine in the morning before I head out to the gym, and just knowing that I have that extra kind of boost each day is pretty awesome, on top of all the other supplements I take through Magnum. But at the beginning of the day, I like to pop some Primer, and you know, they're also proven to, you know, having all these supplements, micronutrients, and so on in your body helps to boost your immune system. And so, you know, I'm not gonna lie, the Omicron is out there, and you know, the best thing you can do, I find, is make yourself a fortress. So that means in the gym, you know, train your ass off, make sure that your strength is up, that your cardio is there, and then also stay on top of all your supplementation, your nutrition, your diet, make sure you're eating clean, and then make sure you're fueling your body. You know, you can't get all of the micronutrients through food often, so just this, you know, makes you extra strong and ready for anything that life's gonna throw at you. We talked about roll with the punches. Well, this is gonna give you an extra little fortress around your chin, so you can roll with those punches and always be strong no matter what. A douche.
Top secret information. Technique Geek.
What's up, everybody? Technique Geek. And today I want to talk about something that I see so many people doing wrong, and that is hitting the heavy bag like an asshole. And so I'm going to show you some kind of basic pointers on how you should hit the heavy bag. Everybody can buy a heavy bag and hang it anywhere, but if you're doing it the wrong way, there's a few things that can happen. Well, you're gonna hit it the wrong fucking way, and potentially you could injure yourself quite easily doing heavy bag stuff. And not only that, you're just gonna reinforce real shitty techniques and habits, which will do you no favor when you wanna actually maybe defend yourself, or go to a gym that actually teaches this stuff, and you're gonna look like that asshole that just started. So number one, what you're gonna have to get yourself is a timer. Luckily, I have my own gym, and I have a minute timer here. Boom, I have it set to a 3-minute. That's just kind of my go-to. I used to fight, kickboxing, K1 style. That was 3-minute rounds, so something it's in my head. If you're an MMA fighter, set your rounds to 5 minutes. I'm gonna tell you right now, those minutes don't get any fucking less, so you better get used to that 5 minutes. And so I always set the timer to 3 minutes on, 1 minute off. One thing I hate, and I see a lot of coaches do this, is minimizing the rest time. So they'll make the rest time 30 seconds rather than a minute. What I wanna say is you need to know how to use that minute 100%. So in between different rounds, knowing that you have 1 minute and 1 minute only, and knowing how to recover and how to breathe and get your mind right and your mindset right for that next round is important. Now, if you only get 30 seconds and you're just giving yourself, a panic attack and you can't breathe, I mean, yeah, it's great, it builds heart, and maybe it is building some stamina, but I don't believe so. So I'm a coach out there that says, always give yourself that minute, because that's what you're gonna get in between rounds in a fight. So get used to that minute and how to maximize every bit of it. Okay, so number two, and that is when you're hitting the bag, you always wanna hit it when it's coming towards you, okay? I see a lot of people out there hitting that bag and trying to hit it as it's going away so you can kick it farther away and it's flopping around, it's moving around. That shouldn't happen, okay? When you're hitting the bag, it should be when it's coming towards you, and so that you're getting the max amount of force in hitting that. And in a fight or a self-defense situation, that's what you want. You want that person coming towards you and hitting that power with power. So always hit the bag when it's coming towards you. Okay guys, so third step is you don't want to stand in the same spot the entire time when you're hitting the bag. I see so many people just stand in that one spot, hit, the bag's moving around. But you got to treat it like you're fighting a live opponent and they're moving around, so you got to move around with them. Okay, everybody, don't mind me. I'm breathing like a fucking beach whale, but I'm super heavyweight. That's okay. But another thing I want to have you doing on a heavy bag is for at least maybe 1 or 2 rounds. I'm a Kyokushin karate guy, which means bare knuckle. Try to hit the bag with your bare knuckles so you're hitting with the right place. So if you don't know, these front 2 knuckles are where you want to hit with when you're punching. Boom, 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 boom. They're always hitting with these front 2. If you're wearing a big puffy fucking set of boxing gloves, you can hit with anywhere, you don't know where you're hitting, so you don't know where you're pinpointing that target. Well, let's say in self-defense, street fight, well, you're gonna wanna hit with those 2 knuckles on that right spot, okay? So another thing is conditioning your knuckles to be harder, be able to hit harder objects without, getting hurt. And that's why we do this.
Hey Russ, action!
Oh, Sable, sorry, I was just, throwing this awesome mint oil on my beard, making it look extra sexy. But that's my sponsor, Bridge City brand, the Gilded Beard. They make tremendous t-shirts and awesome hats, but also amazing beard grooming products. I want to also shout out Resolute Strengthwear. They're an amazing sponsor. Anything you want, one-stop shop, belts, wrist wraps, t-shirts, logs, and I'm not talking about the one you shit out. I'm talking about the big old ones that you lift, and then also all types of implements. They're a one-stop shop, custom belts, custom t-shirts, you name it. Punchline, we're gonna drop a commercial right after this. You're gonna see how awesome this thing is. So I wanna say thank you to all of them. Without them, I can't do this. Can't hire an amazing girl like Sable. So I wanna say is make sure that your mind and body are right, or your fucking life is gonna be a shit show, and you don't want that, trust me.